on confidence, self-expression, and celebrating their potential.
Our spotlight artist tonight, we feature Ambassa Mandela. On our Musically Speaking tonight, yes, we feature a female artist, a songwriter and a singer. She's also a dope performer. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Jerai.
Wakenya, ni wakati mwingine wa kuhakikisha kuwa umefile KRA returns. Je, uko rada una challenge yoyote? Usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC Channel 1 wanakuja hapo ulipo kusaidia kufile returns na kulipia ushuru wako. Jiunge na msafara wa KRA Roadshow, uwe fiti mambo ya returns.
Tarehe 26 mwezi Mei, msafara wetu utatua kaunti ya Taita Taveta, huku tukianzia shughuli zetu katika eneo la Undanyi Stage, kisha tuingie Landi, Mwatate Stage, Caltex, Kariakoo, Kaloleni, Sofia, alafu tumalizie Voi Stage.
Tarehe 30 Juni kwa mlangoni. Usingoje hadi dakika za mwisho. File KRA returns mapema. Ishi bila stress. Jijue, jibeta. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Do you know what's inside that prepackaged food? Those unhealthy ultra-processed foods high in sugar, salt or unhealthy fats can lead to diseases.
According to the Ministry of Health, approximately 39% of all deaths in Kenya are as a result of non-communicable diseases such as obesity, diabetes, cancer and high blood pressure. The foods and drinks we consume every day can affect our health more than we realize.
Clear information on packages about what's in our food can help us have a healthy diet. From the Food Policy Coalition Kenya.
Well, it's the 25th day of May, the year of the Lord 2026. It's a Monday and the last one of the month. By the way, from wherever you're watching us in Kenya and around the world, welcome to Prime Edition, coming to you live from Broadcasting House here in Nairobi, Kenya.
Tonight, DP Kindiki family rebuffs claims of government plans to rig next year's polls. Also in the broadcast, ODM leader Oburu Oginga announces his bid to defend the Siaya senatorial seat.
That's right. So Dr. Oburu Oginga, of course, fondly referred to as the youth leader. Live also in studio, we're going to be speaking to Dr. Emmanuel Okunga, who's the head of Zoonotic Unit, that's at the Ministry of Health. And we're going to talk about Ebola. How ready are we to confront Ebola should it cross the borders? And in the world of business.
Thank you. And in business, I'll tell you about blockchain industry players who want Kenya to tighten regulations to lock out people who are engaged in crypto scams. That's coming up later in business news.
And of course, we're going to get sporty at the tail end of this love broadcast. But first things first, a look at our top stories tonight.
I wish to clarify that the Finance Bill of 2026 does not contain a proposal introducing a 5% withholding tax on digital monetization, contrary to some media reports and commentary.
Treasury CS John Mbadi cautions critics of the Finance Bill 2026 against misinterpreting it.
5 candidates are cleared for the Ol-Kalou constituency mini polls.
But I'm also sitting governor of Homa Bay and aspiring to become governor again in Homa Bay.
Plus,
ODM's U-turn. Oburu Oginga and Gladys Wanga declare interest in retaining their senatorial and gubernatorial seats. Welcome to the broadcast. I am Mboya.
I am Mucuma. Odim. Our sign language expert tonight is Lensa Odingo. Our socials at KBC Channel 1 at KBC Digital.
And let's open this coverage with our lead story now. The National Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi is tonight concerned about the Finance Bill 2026 having either been misinterpreted or wrongly linked to the withdrawn Finance Bill 2024.
Mbadi says the government intends to simplify the tax framework while supporting revenue collection without overburdening Kenyans.
Here now is that report.
The National Treasury has moved to clarify several tax proposals under the Finance Bill 2026 following widespread debate over their potential impact on Kenyans. At the center of the discussion is a proposal touching on taxation of mobile phones, which Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi says has largely been misunderstood. Mbadi says the proposed 25% excise duty on mobile phones is not a new tax, but rather part of a plan to simplify the current taxation framework on imported devices.
We are saying we are replacing all that complicated system with a simple one, where you bring the phone, there is no tax, there is no charges, there's no levy, but the time the phone is bought and is being activated is when you pay one single tax, that is excise duty at 25%.
He says mobile phones are currently subject to multiple taxes and levies, including VAT, excise duty, import declaration fees, and the railway development levy, creating a cumulative tax burden of more than 55%.
So if enacted, mobile phones will no longer be subject to 16% VAT, 2.5% import declaration fee, and a 2% railway development levy under the proposed framework.
There have been concerns from the youth and content creators that the 25% excise duty on phones could slow digital access and online livelihoods. He has also dismissed reports that the Finance Bill 2026 introduces a 5% withholding tax on digital content monetization.
I wish to clarify that the Finance Bill of 2026 does not contain a proposal introducing a 5% withholding tax on digital monetization, contrary to some media reports and commentary.
The government is proposing a reporting framework for virtual asset transactions, including cryptocurrencies, in a move aimed at improving transparency and aligning the tax system with the evolving digital economy.
So the proposal, therefore, seeks to apply reporting and record-keeping principles that are already common within traditional financial and commercial activities to the emerging virtual asset sector.
Mbadi says the government is balancing revenue mobilization with economic growth, investment, and innovation.
The National Treasury remains committed to maintaining a balanced fiscal framework that supports revenue mobilization, economic growth, investment, innovation, and long-term economic sustainability while taking into account prevailing economic conditions and public concerns.
On to other developments, funding of some projects is being transitioned from the Exchequer to the National Infrastructure Fund to free up resources from other public services such as education and health.
Well, the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi says that projects worth 45 billion shillings will no longer be implemented by agencies under the Ministry of Energy, but will be funded under the public-private partnership through the National Infrastructure Fund.
However, MPs are concerned over legal hurdles that may derail or slow transition of ongoing projects.
Here now is that report.
In the 2026-2027 financial year, the National Treasury projects to collect 3.6 trillion shillings, out of which 1.5 trillion shillings will go to servicing loans, while 1 trillion shillings will go to paying salaries and expenses by the public officials. The remaining 1.1 trillion shillings will cater for operations both at the national and county level. National Treasury officials were in Parliament on Monday to explain missing funding for ongoing infrastructural projects.
The other day, we, through PPP, gave out a contract for energy transmission, the first one in this country, because it is commercially viable. Yet, you still find the same transmission lines sitting in our budget. We are saying no, remove them out.
Cabinet Secretary John Buddy says the decision was to transition funding of commercially viable projects from the national budget to the newly established National Infrastructure Fund.
Investment policy, which is supposed to be the annual plan, again, which you are supposed to end the feasibility study. All these are supposed to be in place by the time now the fund can be able to start its operation. So where are we in terms of timelines for these very important requirements?
That may take about 3-4 months. Now, the concern is it will take time. But let me tell you, Chairman, even if we were to leave these projects on the budget, who says we will fund them from July? Because we only fund when we have money.
Buddy says commercially viable projects and agencies should not be relying on the national budget. Gisho Kiwashira, Prime Edition.
The government will, in the next 90 days, issue 200,000 title deeds to residents of Kilifi County.
Speaking on Monday after commissioning the Mariakani substation and flagging off the last-mile connectivity in Kilifi County, President William Ruto said the government has invested 5 billion shillings to address the squatters issue in the coast region.
Well, coast leaders lauded the initiative, saying that the Kenya Kwanza administration has extended a share of the national cake to the region, which they say has long been neglected.
This report was compiled by Yusuf Farah.
Na ndio nimesema hii uskwota ndio imechangia umaskini pwani hii, na kama tutatoa umaskini pwani hii lazima tumalizane na uskwota. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Kwa mara ya kwanza kwa historia ya taifa letu, serikali imenunua mashamba katika jimbo la Pwani kuwafukuza mabwanyenye, wananchi wapate mashamba. Ndio rais wa kwanza ambaye amekumbuka wapwani, ameteua wapwani zaidi ya 106 katika maamuzi, katika meza za kuamua mambo ya serikali.
5 aspirants seeking to contest for the Ol-Kalou parliamentary seat were on Monday cleared by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, without any hitches as the presentation of the nomination papers process entered its second day.
Now, 5 more candidates are expected to present their papers a little later on.
Here is that report.
By Kasichana Masha.
At PCA Church Hall in Ol-Kalou, 5 out of 10 aspirants seeking to contest for the Ol-Kalou parliamentary seat were on Monday cleared by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission ahead of the by-election set for 16th July 2026. The first aspirant to submit the nomination papers was Abdi Fatah Hussein of the Federal Party of Kenya. Youthful People's Renaissance Movement candidate Timothy Kariuki, who arrived at the venue riding on a donkey, was also successfully cleared shortly after Hussein.
Mimi ni mkulima wa Ol-Kalou, natumia punda kulima hapa na mafuta imekuwa bei ghali sana. Ndio maana nikaamua kutumia punda leo, juu pesa ya mafuta singepata.
United Democratic Alliance UDA candidate Samuel Mushina arrived at the venue escorted by a mammoth crowd of supporters, where he later urged his opponents to maintain peace throughout the campaign period.
Kwa wale ambao tunashindana na wao, let's maintain peace and order, kwa sababu huu uchaguzi ni wa sisi wananchi wa Ol-Kalou tunazidi uchaguzi.
Other candidates who were cleared were Kenya Moja Movement candidate Edward Mathenge and Paul Waiganjo of the People Federation Party. In a press briefing on Monday, the Democracy for Citizens Party Secretary General John Methu expressed confidence in the party's chances of winning the seat.
First, I want to also assure our party members that that responsibility that has been placed on myself and the Honorable Wanjiku Mboya, we shall undertake it with military precision. we ensure that we deliver Ol Karau to DCP.
The seat remained vacant following the demise of David Kiaraho on 29th March 2026. Kasichana Masha, Prime Edition.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has dismissed allegations that government is planning to rig next year's general election, insisting that Kenya Kwanza administration will seek re-election on the strength of delivering on its development agenda.
Speaking at a public engagement in Kisii, Professor Kindiki warned that such statements could inflame tensions and undermine public confidence in democratic institutions.
Mambo ya kusema kwamba uchaguzi hautakuwa wa huru na haki ni mambo yasiyokubalika, na hiyo ni mambo ambayo yanaweza hatarisha usalama wa taifa letu. Na mimi nataka niseme ya kwamba it is very clear, it is simple. Leaders will be measured by the work they have done. Si mambo ya barabara zetu na stima yetu na shule zetu na masoko yetu. Si siku ya siasa iko next year.
Well, it's 12 minutes past the top of the hour. You're watching Prime Edition, coming to you live from Broadcasting House. We're taking our first break, but coming up,
Jubilee Delegates Conference will be giving you the details with the clarity you deserve. Also, Tom.
Oh yes, we have a conversation also around the response to Ebola. We will be hosting Dr. Kunga from the Ministry of Health. You don't want to miss that. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Do you know what's inside that prepackaged food? Those unhealthy ultra-processed foods high in sugar, salt or unhealthy fats can lead to diseases.
According to the Ministry of Health, approximately 39% of all deaths in Kenya are as a result of non-communicable diseases such as obesity, diabetes, cancer, and high blood pressure. The foods and drinks we consume every day can affect our health more than we realize.
Clear information on packages about what's in our food can help us have a healthy diet. From the Food Policy Coalition Kenya.
Kenya is shifting gears. From Nairobi to Mombasa, Nakuru to Kisumu, the electric revolution is already moving. Now, the conversation that drives it forward comes to KICC Nairobi, where Kenya Power, Electric Mobility Association of Kenya, EMAC, GIZ, government leaders, innovators, and investors will all be in one room during the 4th annual Kenya Power E-Mobility Conference and Expo 2026. Themed Aligning Policy, Infrastructure and Partnerships to Scale E-Mobility in Kenya. The conference will take place on 4th and 5th June 2026 at KICC Nairobi. Kenya Power, powering e-mobility, pamoja twanga. Watch it live only on KBC.
Are you ready for the next big thing in tech? Well, we'll spotlight Kenya's brightest young minds, game-changing startups, and breakthrough technology that are shaping our future. From AI and robotics to sustainable futures, we bring you the stories behind the scenes. KBC Channel 1. Remember, tech starts here.
Welcome back to Prime Edition. Our socials.
At KBC Channel 1, at KBC Digital. Onto that story we teased, Tom.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yes, we actually did tease it. Odim party leader Dr. Oburu Oginga now says that he will be defending his Siaya senatorial seat.
The Orange Party leader's declaration at an aspirants meeting in Kisumu will likely raise questions on the strategy Odim seeks to employ as they negotiate with UDA over a power-sharing formula, especially after declaring that they will go for a 50% share in the next government.
Well, Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga Nyasuna, also touted as the potential deputy president candidate, also declared that she will be defending her seat.
Achala Simon was on location and compiled this report.
The declaration at an aspirants meeting in Kisumu County that the ODM party leader Oburu Oginga will be defending his seat as Siaya County Senator, will most likely raise questions about the ambition and general negotiation strategy of the Orange Democratic Party with their broad-based counterpart, the United Democratic Alliance Party, especially after having declared in the past rallies that they will go for 50-50 power sharing in the next government.
And winning in the coming government means we are going to form a coalition with our partners in the broad-based arrangement. And in this partnership, there is competition within. And that competition must be won through numbers.
That ODM is going to the negotiation table as an equal partner. So we want it to be this way as the young people of this party. That if the president comes from UDA party, the deputy president must come from ODM. And that one must be put into consideration.
To even create more confusion is another revelation that Homa Bay Governor and ODM National Chairperson Gladys Wanga, who is widely touted as a potential candidate for the Deputy President's slot, will also defend her seat as the Homa Bay Governor.
When Homa Bay people were here, I forgot. Ningekuja haraka sana, so that I say also declare that I'm also sitting governor of Homa Bay and aspiring to become governor again in Homa Bay for a second term.
The leaders also sought to clarify the controversial demand to have Nyanza region zoned specifically for ODM.
It is not zoning with Gachago, whatever. How do you call him? How do you call that party? Jesus? I don't know whether, whatever. So when we are not zoning with Martha Karwa, I heard her also talking about zoning. So, Martha, we are not interested in zoning with you. You can zone with whoever you want. But we are zoning only for ourselves within the coalition of ODM and ODA.
Oginga further stating that any other party apart from UDA are free to contest in the region and must be ready for a bruising battle. The leaders also rallied youth and their general support to come out in large numbers on May 31st for the planned mega rally in the lakeside city of Kisumu. Achala Simon, Prime Edition, Kisumu County.
That Jubilee Delegates Conference we talked about before we took a break, retired President Uhuru Kenyatta has told Kenyans to demand accountability from the government, saying it's their constitutional right to do so.
That's right. The Jubilee Party leader also warned that spewing tribal hate risks plunging the country into chaos, particularly during the electioneering period.
He spoke during the Kiambu Delegates Forum in the region.
Here's that report.
For the first time in months, retired President Uhuru Kenyatta came back to public limelight on Monday as he presided over Jubilee Party's Kiambu Delegates Forum at the Kiambu Golf Club. The retired president used the occasion to caution against attempts of ethnic balkanization by a section of politicians, saying it puts the country at a risk of chaos in the run-up to the 2027 general election.
Hakuna mtu ambaye anastahili kutisha kabila tofauti. Sisi zote ni wa Kenya na Mwenyezi Mungu anajua ni kwa sababu gani alituweka pamoja kwa nchi ambayo inaitwa Kenya. Sio kuja hapa kutugawa na kutupiganisha. Hiyo sio haki.
Hatutaki kugawanya nchi yetu. Hadharani mchana mtu kwanza kuzungumza maneno eti huwezi kukubali wa Kikuyu, huwezi kukubali kabila hii, huwezi kukubali. Shida ya nchi yetu sio shida ya Wakikuyu, ama shida ya Wajaluo, ama shida ya Wakamba, ama shida ya Wakisii. Shida tuko nayo ni shida ya wananchi wote wa Kenya.
The Jubilee Party leader, who was accompanied by top party officials, including presidential flag bearer Fred Matiang'i, challenged security agencies to crack down on hate mongers to ensure the stability of the country.
Hii sio mara yetu ya kwanza kuona viongozi wakiongea mambo machafu ya kulete vurugu. Naomba viongozi wa usalama wa nchi hii yetu ya Kenya, kama kwa ukweli mnapenda nchi yetu, msiruhusu mambo haya yaendelee.
We are the Kenyan people and nobody else can tell us we are second-class citizen. And we will not allow anybody to isolate any community. You have seen it in the past, and I can tell you something. Decide where you'll take us. We cannot allow anybody to isolate us.
Uhuru also castigating the Kenya Kwanza administration for what he termed as failing to address the fuel prices high crisis that has drastically increased the cost of living for the majority of Kenyans.
Na kama unataka tusaidiane kutatua hiyo shida, semeni tutatue hiyo, lakini kwenda kuweka shida ati uweke ati ni kwa sababu ya huyu, ni kwa sababu ya huyu. Na jameni, hakuna mtu ambaye haoni shida iko wapi. Wakenya hawatakula maneno wakiwa na njaa, wataka chakula. Mtoto hatasomeshwa na maneno, niturekebishe maneno ya mashule.
At the same time, the former president called on the unity of the opposition leaders to forge a single formidable coalition ahead of next year's general polls. Give us Minor Prime Edition.
Now, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission has launched investigations into remarks by UDA Secretary General Hassan Omar last week that were deemed to be tantamount to ethnic profiling.
While decrying the rise in political intolerance ahead of the 2027 general polls, NCIC chairperson Bishop Dr. Kefa Omai urged politicians to remain sober and preach politics of unity.
Here now is that report.
UDA Secretary General Hassan Omar's statement that his remarks on a particular tribe's position in the next elections were taken out of context does not seem to have gotten him out of the woods yet. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua joined the fray of other central Kenya leaders unsettled by the remarks.
We want to reject in total the attempt by Hassan Omar to apologize to the people of the mountain for inciting Kenyans against them.
And the National Cohesion and Integration Commission is investigating Omar's remarks.
Our investigative machinery is at work so that we don't act on emotions and we are not driven into political contests. As a commission, we've got to make sure we act within the confines of the law.
NCIC warned that the remarks do not augur well with the currently fragile political situation in the country, as characterized by disruption of political meetings, inflammatory utterances by politicians, coordinated online attacks and ethnic profiling. Omar's is among 57 cases the commission is investigating.
So anybody, it doesn't matter who he is, that will breach the law, will make sure the law catches up with them. Watch this space.
While urging leaders to exercise restraint, the NCIC called on political parties to enforce discipline on errant members using internal mechanisms.
Parties bear direct institutional responsibility for the conduct of their members and cannot distance themselves from the consequences of the toxic environments they permit or encourage.
Upon assessment of the cases, the Commission will take necessary action on those found to have committed the criminal offence of ethnic contempt and hate speech under the NCIC Act. Isofar reporting for Prime Edition.
The 5th East Africa Broadcasters Convention will be held on the 26th to 28th of May 2026 at Emara Ole Sereni Hotel, Nairobi. We expect 200 delegates across the region. We are going to discuss a lot of things. The theme for this year's East Africa Convention is Reimagining Next, Artificial Intelligence and Cloud Broadcasting. To register to participate actually in the convention, visit the Association of Professional Broadcasters website, www.apbke.org, and register. The registration fee is 15,000 Kenyan shillings for the 3 days convention. You are most welcome. Let us have conversations, connections, and make decisions that are going to shape the future of broadcasting.
Good
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya. Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health.
Someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about the viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good Morning Kenya, every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, our socials, of course, at KBC Channel 1 on all those social media platforms. Dr. Emmanuel Okunga, head of Zoonotic Unit at the Ministry of Health, has now joined us live in studio. And I want to thank him so much for finding time to come and be with us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to engage the public.
Excellent. Now, of course, we know that Uganda has confirmed 3 new cases, and they are right across the border. And that brings it up to a total of 7. But before we even get that answer, some answers from you, I want us to start, for the interest of our viewer, just explain to us what the symptoms of Ebola are. What does Ebola look like? And why should we consider it very lethal?
Thank you very much. So, Ebola, and particularly for the current strain that is circulating in DRC and Uganda, the initial symptoms will appear like many common illnesses like malaria. So headache, fever, sore throat, hotness of the body, and rashes for about 5 days or so. This will then be transformed to diarrhea, vomiting, bleeding from the body orifices. Now, the challenge with Ebola is the transmission pathways. You have to get in touch with an infected person through the body fluids, contact with the body fluids. You then get infected, as opposed to COVID, which was airborne. In Ebola, it is contact. Now, with Ebola, the other difference with COVID is that Ebola can have 90 out of 100 people can die. For this particular strain, it is less fatal, but still up to 50% of infected people can die.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is because of that transmission pattern, it is also easily preventable by simply avoiding infected persons, practicing hand hygiene, hand washing, soap and water, personal hygiene, and for health workers protecting themselves with appropriate personal protective equipment.
Personal protective equipment. We and I know we're going to talk about what lessons we learned from the COVID scare. But first, the World Health Organization is confirming that there are how many deaths? I think there are 220 deaths from Ebola, and we have spoken about the 3 new cases. that were reported recently across the border. The World WHO is also saying something very scary, that, the spread could outpace the mitigation efforts. And so my question to you is, as a neighbor to Uganda, do we have a window to act, and to act so quickly?
Yes, so from the outset, we must say that the outbreak in DRC, there was a period where cases were missed for one or two reasons. Mainly because the area in which the outbreak is occurring is a security challenged area, heavily forested, gold mines, and a few challenges with the tests. So there was a missed opportunity there. However, the world has moved in with quite some speed, and interventions are now being undertaken in DRC and Kampala that should help us to contain the outbreak at source. Now for Kenya, our population movements in the region are quite high. So we have a lot of truck drivers going to DRC, Uganda. We also have traders, we have travelers. However, we are confident that with the enhanced surveillance systems we've put in place in the country and the interventions we are putting in place in our counties, we are able to contain this outbreak.
And let me ask this. You have already spoken about how Ebola manifests, that some of the symptoms are headache, fever, sore throat, and in what cases, diarrhea and bleeding. So the question is, how prepared are health workers in terms of training? What kind of training do they have to undergo to ensure that they are able to handle some of these suspect cases?
So we've already sensitized close to 900 healthcare workers through our virtual systems. And we also currently have a team in Busia, which is the highest risk county in this respect. We have an ongoing training in Busia on Ebola, physical training, which is also supposed to be accompanied by a simulation exercise to test our systems, ability for response. And we intend to continue these trainings across the country. Because a case can occur anywhere in the country. And we also are cascading these trainings to the community, because our community actors, the community health promoters, and other community resource persons all have to get the knowledge to be able to identify cases, to be able to prevent transmission. So this is a whole of society kind of approach. So that is our approach. Because as you know, already in DRC we've lost 4 healthcare workers. So we are specifically ensuring that we train our healthcare workers very effectively. So that they can ensure their personal protection. We are also equipping them with the necessary personal protective equipment. So that we have safe healthcare workers to be able to treat our people.
You talked about strengthening surveillance, especially in areas like border areas like Busia. But we all know that sometimes the borders are porous. So is that something that can make you lose sleep? I mean, how do you tighten that aspect of things?
Yes, so we are undertaking surveillance, not just on the formal border crossing points. We're also undertaking surveillance at our airports, all our airports. So we are screening all patients coming from the affected counties. But now on the borders, the porous borders, what we are relying on is our community-based surveillance networks, which bring together the health system, the security systems,
it's a whole of government approach at screening people within communities, people that may not go through the formal crossing points.
Okay.
So we are confident that once communities are properly sensitized, they're able to identify persons coming from the affected countries that have symptoms or that they suspect may have symptoms, and should be able to now report to the health system or the chiefs or even the community health promoters or even the churches, any institutions.
Okay, that can pick it up quickly.
That can pick it up and link to the health facilities.
We are living in the era of technology. Can they use their phones, for example, to reach out? Is there a USSD code that they can use? Some star something something?
Yes, so we have a code, star 719 hash. This is not just providing information about Ebola, but you can also use it for reporting suspect cases, and it is toll-free. So this is a good tool for us to connect with the public.
Okay, let me ask you this, because I mean, we lived through COVID, and now in retrospect, when you look back, what do you think are some of the mistakes that we made as a country?
Yes, so COVID was a relatively new disease. It was respiratory borne or airborne. So the transmission dynamics are different. Ebola is not a new disease. We know about Ebola since the 70s, 1970s. So the approach to Ebola is fairly well known. Now, there could have been challenges with COVID because it was a new disease, but those lessons learned are also strengthening our response to Ebola.
So what would be the 2 or 3 top lessons learned for you that, that you hold dearly?
Yeah, so one is the need to ensure social protection. So the people, we need to protect the weaker persons in our societies. 2, we need to reinforce our procurement systems. And 3, we should be able to generally strengthen our systems across board in terms of protection of our healthcare workers, protection of our frontline workers, protection of the CHPs.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would be your last message as we wind down to Kenyans? Because I also know that there are certain levels of anxiety amongst the populace. So what is it that you can tell them, about Ebola?
Yes, so the message is this. Ebola is a highly infectious disease. It can be deadly, but it is also very preventable using simple measures which are about personal hygiene, issues of hand washing, protecting yourself from sick patients. For our health workers, we need to protect ourselves by using appropriate personal protective equipment. And of course, we be each other's protectors. We are our brothers' keepers. So look out for your brothers and sisters. In case you see any challenges, support each other.
Support each other. And I think it's nourishing on the mind to know that Ebola is actually preventable, especially if those protocols that you have talked about, from hand washing to hygiene, PPEs for the medics, and being your brother's keeper. I want to thank you so much, Dr. Emmanuel Okunga, Head of Zoonotic Unit, for finding time to come and talk to us about this topic of Ebola and really sort of minimizing the anxiety that was starting to build in the country. So I want to thank you so much. Remember, Dr. has spoken about the things that you can do in the event that you suspect a case of Ebola. One of it is to send a message to *719 #, and you use that platform to report any case that you suspect could be a case of Ebola. So thank you so much, Dr.
We also thank you very much, and remind the media that you are a key stakeholder as we respond to this outbreak.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Asante sana. So we're going to take a short break. Of course, when we come back to the third part, we're going to be looking at the day's business, and also we'll be getting sporty at the tail end. Stay with us.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first. You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Hello there and a very good evening to you from wherever you're joining us from. It's now time for business. My name is Trevor Ngendo. We begin with crypto regulations, where blockchain industry players are urging Kenya to tighten regulations, warning that rising cryptocurrency scams are undermining trust in digital finance and slowing fintech growth. Binance Regional Operations Lead Saruni Maina says that rising fraud cases were pushing more Kenyans back to cash transactions, a trend he warns could slow innovation in Kenya's fast-growing financial technology sector.
According to the latest data from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, indicates that Kenya lost 5.6 billion shillings to cryptocurrency-related fraud. Players say the numbers could steadily rise if oversight is not strengthened. Binance Regional Operations Lead Saruni Maina says the scams are slowing fintech uptake and development.
A lot of the first experience that people have with crypto, unfortunately, has been either it's a scam in one way or the other. And the reason for that is because there's a lot of lack of education. And scammers and bad actors take advantage of that.
Maina is calling for a strict licensing regime for blockchain firms to weed out fraudulent operators.
If we cannot protect people's money, if we cannot earn the trust of our users, then we are basically doing nothing.
He says clearer regulations would help integrate blockchain into Kenya's financial system and support cross-border trade as more countries adopt the technology.
The countries that in Africa that have regulations at various levels, even if it's live or still being drafted, are around 7 to 8 right now. So that is a very big indicator as to where the market is actually going. We are growing at a very fast pace.
He was speaking as Binance concluded its commemoration of the African Month that involved community initiatives, stakeholder engagement, and education programs aimed at boosting financial inclusion and technology adoption. Benson Rioba, reporting for Prime Edition.
Elsewhere, quality assurance systems are being modernized and consumer protection strengthened to keep pace with rising manufacturing activity and import volumes. Kenya Bureau of Standards Managing Director Esther Ngari says that the National Standards Bill of 2025 will make it easier for legitimate goods to move efficiently through the trade system. I spoke to her earlier in the day, and here now is that story. The Kenya Bureau of Standards oversees product certification, conformity assessment, laboratory testing, and market surveillance. However, changing consumer tastes, technological advancement, growth in e-commerce, and increasing trade volumes have forced the agency to rethink and modernize operations.
We have evolved because the technology that was in use in 1974 definitely is not the current technology. There have been several other legal notices that have changed a few things, like legal notice number 78 that gives the powers to the inspection of goods, the pre-verification of conformity at source, and also the destination inspection.
Expanding the testing capacity will pave way for efficient product analysis and faster decision-making on conformity assessment.
We have established new laboratories all over the country. We have laboratories here at the headquarters in Nairobi. We also have 6 regional offices. The way we do is to prioritize the products which are produced in those regions, and then we establish laboratories that will support the value chains in those regions.
The National Standards Bill of 2025 seeks to review the current standards law that has been in place since 1974, which no longer adequately responds to emerging trade realities such as digital commerce and growing complexity of global supply chains.
The Standards Bill is looking at putting in place measures to be able to regulate those who are operating on the e-commerce. We are also looking at putting measures to assist industrialization because there has been growth. The legal instruments in 1974 had very small penalties in terms of non-compliance. So you realize that some of the manufacturers would rather get away with it, pay the penalty, and continue producing.
The Kenya Bureau of Standards is calling on manufacturers, importers, and consumers to comply with certification requirements and report any contraband products in the market. The Standards Agency maintains that standards enforcement is not just about compliance, but also about protecting lives, supporting industries, and facilitating international trade. And modernization of laboratories and inspection systems is critical to achieving this goal. That's Esther Ngari, the Managing Director, Kenya Bureau of Standards, speaking to us earlier in the day. Moving on, flour farms have issued notices to cut jobs, citing supply chain disruptions linked to the Middle East crisis and soaring fuel prices that have driven up production and shipping costs. The Agricultural Employers Association CEO Wesley Siele says that several farms have begun redundancy processes as growers struggle to stay afloat. Speaking in Naivasha, Siele further said the situation has been worsened by rising fertilizer prices and delayed VAT refunds worth more than 10 billion shillings.
We have received letters requesting for us to process the redundancies in the farms, and I think this is not a time when things should be taken like business as usual. We need to relook at how things need to change. Diversification of market has happened, so you'll find some of our flowers go to Australia, to Europe, but a big market also is in the Middle East. So with the war which is there in Iran, I think we definitely have been affected.
We've seen increased in cost in our inputs. We've seen disruptions in our order, all our input into the coming to the farm, the prices have gone up. I'll give an example. One of our key inputs, calcium nitrate, in our industry has doubled the last 3 months.
But you have to, otherwise he'll be out.
Hey, I can't take that card. That'd split me up. I'd be stuck.
First, he didn't go far. I found him in the garden downstairs.
I want to try hard. But what will that achieve? Even if I work hard till I reach your age, it should be time to enjoy life. But it's still just one obstacle after another.
A very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Prime Edition Sport. 3KFC kept alive their hopes of earning automatic promotion to the 2026 with Equity FC during their National Super League, that NSL fixture played yesterday in Embu. The draw leaves 3K in third position with 69 points, while Equity remains fourth, 4 points adrift. With 4 matches remaining, Migori Youth leads the standings with 71 points, while Mombasa United are placed second with the same points, but the two teams are separated by goal difference. Top 3 sides at the conclusion of the campaign will be promoted to next season's FKF Premier League, while the bottom 3 sides will be relegated to Division 1. The battle for relegation involves 3 sides, Mwatate United, Vihiga United and MCF, who must register impressive results in the remaining matches to keep alive their hopes of featuring in the NSL next season. Sofapaka and United have already been relegated from the FKF Premier League and will feature in the NSL next season.
We have 2 days, I'll say 1 day to prepare. Again, we will go out there, try get 3 points. Again, tuone kama tuta minimize the gap between sisi na wale watu mbele yetu, considering itakuwa after midweek tutakuwa tumebakisha game 3 season iishe.
Important match, we knew how the opponent were playing, we knew how tough so it was going to be, and okay, we did get a win. Also, we didn't lose the match. We just picked the positive on this match and build on it, but there is still on.
Pierre and Susan Wanja were crowned the champions in the men's and women's categories respectively in the East Africa Darts Tournament organized by the Africa Darts Group, held in Mombasa yesterday, and the first international darts competition ever staged in Kenya's coast region, which attracted over 70 players from Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. Washiri clinched the men's title after commanding 8-3 victory over Pascal Wanjala in the final, while Wanja defeated Setu Dania The tournament brought together players from Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania at the KPA Makande Welfare Hall. The landmark event not only showcased the growing popularity of that in East Africa, but also highlighted calls from players and officials for greater government support to develop the sport and nurture young talent. Thus, the winner of the second leg of the PGK Equator Tour second edition held at the Thika Sports Club after 4 days of competition featuring some of the country's top professional golfers. BCG basketball team have attributed their recent triumph and qualification for the FIBA 3x3 Lion City Challenger basketball tournament in Singapore to their consistent participation in the local Bingwa Fest festival.
Samuel Njoroge delivered consistent performances across the tournament to finish top of the leaderboard, carding 278, 10 under par to secure the title on the tour. Dismas Indiza finished in second place with 279 points, followed by Michael Karanga with 283 points in third place. The top 10 finishers also included Kennedy Abuto with 288 points, Greg Snow and Edwin Mudanyi tied with 289 points, John Lejirima with 290 points and CJ Wangai with 294, Mike Kisia with 295 points and Mohit Medirata finishing with 296 points. The third leg of the tour now moves to Limuru Country Club.
Second leg of the Equator Tour at Thika Sport Club, and I'm happy. It was not easy, but I managed to do it, and I'm so happy. The course today for me, it was tough, pressure, a lot of pressure was there, but I just keep calm and told myself that I will do it. Just relax and we'll do it.
Elsewhere, Team BCG have attributed their recent triumph at the Nairobi Light Quest, which saw them secure a ticket to the FIBA 3-on-3 Singapore Lion City Challenger, to constant competition at Bingwa Fest. The FIBA 3-on-3 Singapore Lion City Challenger is scheduled June 26th to 28th at the Singapore Sports Hub.
The idea here is to provide a platform across the country, so not just Nairobi, but we're going all the way to 7 different regions, from eastern to western, north, south, and it has given the athletes a platform to be able to compete against each other and improve their skills.
Our journey has led us to qualifying to the Singapore Challenge. It's quite an honor, and it's so satisfying that our efforts together has brought us to that level. So it means a really big deal for us, and we are really happy to go and participate and try our efforts and our talent in that level.
The 3-day event will bring together top-ranked challenger teams and offer significant ranking points.
That's the sport for tonight, and remember that Kenya is hosting the Rugby Africa Women's Performance Division, and so Wednesday is when we're going to have day 2 of the competitions. What are the teams doing as they build up to that? So hearing from Kenya, Madagascar, Uganda and South Africa, that's something we want to look forward to. My name is Daniel Wahome. Thank you for being with us on Prime Edition Sport. Back to Tom, Irene and Trevor.
Thank you very much for that update in the world of sports. And well, it's now time to bring the curtains down, but perhaps before we do that, just some quick recognitions of those who are watching us.
Allow me to recognize Catherine Wanjohi, who is watching from Nyeri, Joshua Chieng from Egerton University, Stephanie in Nyandarua, and Bertrand Nyambura in Nairobi.
Thank you for thank you for reading on behalf of my colleague Mucuma Odim there.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for your feedback on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1, at KBC Digital. Your company is highly appreciated. Our sign language expert tonight is Lensa Odingo. You said my name, Tom. Should I say it again?
Odim Mucuma.
All right, and I'm Trevor, and we'll get to see you again soon. Have a good night.
That's right. I'm Tom Mboya. We'll be back again tomorrow at the same time. So see you.
Wakenya, ni wakati mwingine wa kuhakikisha kuwa umefile KRA returns. Je, uko rada una challenge yoyote? Usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC Channel 1 wanakuja hapo ulipo kusaidia kufile returns na kulipia ushuru wako. Jiunge na msafara wa KRA Roadshow, uwe fiti mambo ya returns.
Tarehe 26 mwezi Mei, msafara wetu utatua kaunti ya Taita Taveta, huku tukianzia shughuli zetu katika eneo la Undanyi Stage, kisha tuingie Landi, Mwatate Stage, Caltex, Kariakoo, Kaloleni, Sofia, alafu tumalizie Voi Stage.
Tarehe 30 Juni kwa mlangoni. Usingoje hadi dakika za mwisho. File KRA returns mapema. Ishi bila stress. Jijue, jibeta. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
But you have to, otherwise he'll be out.
Hey, I can't take that card. That'd split me up. I'd be stuck.
First, he didn't go far. I found him in the garden downstairs.
I want to try hard. But what will that achieve? Even if I work hard till I reach your age, it should be time to enjoy life. But it's still just one obstacle after another.
Yo, welcome to the biggest, the baddest entertainment show right here in the 254. Wagwan from wherever place you are watching this amazing show from, man. Before I take you through the recap of the events, how they went down all weekend, where they happened, allow me to take you straight into our weekly rituals of the new releases, manze. And talking about that, Lil Maina alongside Okello Max walidrop ngoma mbaya sana, ngenje sana, inaitwa Nataka. Nataka is one of those songs that you can use as your pickup line pale kwa streets, manze. All you need to do is just to play it on repeat, ama you put it on repeat, alafu utafanya nini? Utasikia word for word for word for word, and then you can use it, manze. The visuals of this video, dope. Alafu tena pati ya pili ya Okello Max. Oh my God. Hey. Hey, Wagwan, big guided. We are outside, man. Uhuru Park tonight for Tuputane. Bashment going down right here, man. Fresh vibes, man. It's an event that brings together some of the most exciting artists that currently are shaping the Kenyan urban industry. We're talking about the transition from the music straight to the DJ, dancers, and of course, influencers. Some of the big names that we have right here tonight are Mandy, Big Boys, Tukona Gogo, alongside other amazing artists. The icing on cake is straight on the content creators who went through the content creators competition, and tonight they are being crowned. How about we go straight into the event? Let's go.
The atmosphere at Uhuru Park was electric as creators, influencers, and fans gathered to celebrate a campaign that brought campus experiences from the crowd straight to the stage. Renowned Kenyan dancer Kolo Blue set the pace from viral dance challenges to his hit track Burukanga. It was truly a proud moment for Kenyan dance culture.
Goal ni attention. Make sure you have as much eyeballs as possible. Whatever you do, tumia your art yako ya dance kukuposition. You get? So the dance itself might not position, but you can use it as a tool to position you. Kama unajua na msee anafanyanga movie, wape idea vya unaweza fanya movie ya dance. Enda kwa wasanii waambie venye wanaweza tengeneza ngoma ya dance. Use that dance as a tool. The dance should not be the subject, right? I feel like, especially in branding and PR, dance inafa utumie your art to get to a certain point. When you're just home dancing and you're not posting content, you're not networking with musicians, with directors, with filmmakers, with all of these guys. Those are the people who need this service you're offering.
Then came Mandy, one of Kenya's top female rappers, who stepped on stage and absolutely owned the moment. The energy only got wilder when Brooklyn boys hit the stage. Bringing Eastland's flavor and sending the crowd into a frenzy as fans sang along to their biggest hits. What started as a simple brand campaign quickly transformed into a youth-led digital revolution and storytelling into a massive creator movement that garnered over 22 million views on TikTok. Out of over 1,300 young creators who registered for the Hooked and Fresh UGC Challenge, only 10 outstanding brand ambassadors were shortlisted and recognized for their creativity and consistency. More than just a challenge, Hooked and Fresh became a movement, a celebration of Kenyan youth culture, digital storytelling, and the power of creators shaping conversations online.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That was Tukutane Bashman, man. An amazing show, amazing crew, amazing organizers, and big shout out to everyone, man, who attended this event. Right about now, on our Spotlight Artist tonight, we feature Ambassa Mandela.
In an industry often driven by trends, Ambassa Mandela has remained committed to one thing: telling stories through music.
Lord.